I'm here with Mindy Young, who does beautiful botanical art for the letter B. We're going to look at her work and talk about what it means to work in this style. So, Mindy, botanical is kind of a big deal. A lot of people love their florals, love their leaves and all the things that are botanical. How did you find your way of doing it?
All right. So I've kind of just always done things my way. I think that's something that set me apart from the beginning, is because I didn't want to do stuff that you could find everywhere else. I was originally started watercolor painting, looking for something for my daughter's room or a swaddle to swaddle her in. I wanted something that was really cute and feminine and light and airy and just kind of dreamy. And once I was looking, I couldn't find anything like that. So I just started creating it for myself. So I was creating something for me. And I started painting. I created these beautiful things and I started sharing it on Facebook. And all these people were like, oh, this is so pretty. Like, would you sell this? I would buy this on something. So then my brain got going. I'm like, maybe this is a job. Like, maybe I could do this for a living. And so I started painting flowers all day, every day. And I became obsessed. Anytime I would go to the park with my kids, I would go out on walks in the neighborhood. I'd pick flowers or just take pictures of them, and I'd come home and paint them. And over time, I built this great business around it. And so things that super inspire me are mainly anything that's very feminine. I have other designs that are not as feminine, but I don't get as inspired if it doesn't have pink in it. Pink is my color. So
yes, pink.
This is one of my designs. This is on fabric.
Oh,
but I took my watercolor paints and put them on fabric, and that's how I sell them now. But I have so many that you can see here that I just paint and then I just put them on stuff. And my inspiration comes from nature. I live in Utah, so we have snow probably from November until maybe June. Sometimes we'll have snow. And so we don't get flowers all season long. And so I actually go to the craft store and I find all the faux flowers and I take pictures, and I'll put some bunches together that I think would look pretty painted. And then I'll take pictures. And then I'll bring it home and I'll paint those. So there's so many ways you can find inspiration. Even if you're in a place that snows a lot, like Utah, you can find so many beautiful things to take pictures of. So that's another one of mine. I love sunflowers. Sunflowers are something that just means something spiritually to me. So I love to paint those especially. But you'll notice in this one was inspired by my grandma's couch, and I actually have a pillow. I'm going to grab it. Hold on one second.
Okay.
My grandma passed away, and this is her couch pillows. And you can see how beautiful this is. I wish this was my design, but it's not. But I wanted to take that and just do my own thing. So that's what this one was inspired from her couch. So I find so many ways that you can easily find beautiful florals around you to be inspired by, even if it's somebody else's work, but doing it in your own style so that you bring that signature style of your own into it. And I loved this especially because it's blue. It's not yellow sunflowers. So everybody does yellow sunflowers. So I'm like, why don't I do blue ones? Because then it stands out from everybody else's. So I like to think about that when I'm painting, what is going to make this different than everybody else's work? Because everybody seems to paint. The rose is red, everybody paints, it seems what it really is in real life. So I started doing things differently. And same with this, you can see, I like to play later in Photoshop and change colors. This isn't actually the way I painted it. And I go in and tweak colors and make it different because I want to stand out. I want it to be different than what everybody else has and not let it just look like a blur and a sea of the same stuff. So that's something I find a lot of joy in, is how can I make this a little bit different? So even when I paint stuff like this, a lot of the times it looks beautiful just like that. And sometimes I'll keep it, but I'll be like, what else can I like change in the colors? What can I do to make this different? And so that's one great thing about having Photoshop later is you can change things to look different.
They're all beautiful. And I also like that you also have the flexibility of, or even the perspective of approaching the flowers and saying, you know what, I love this form, but what if it were some other color? Would you say that that's something that you bring into your style intentionally?
Yes, for sure. Anytime I'm making something, I usually am trying to do colors that are opposite of what it actually is in real life. I feel like just being opposite, being different than what everybody does is so attractive to a lot of people. And there's people who love traditional, and I'll do traditional for the traditional lovers. But for the most part, I feel like that's why a lot of people buy my designs is because they're different and they're not the same. So people want that unique style when they're putting it on products or when they're licensing my designs, or I don't know, it sets me apart for sure.
Mindy has a class for you to discover your own signature style. I'll put the links below. Thank you, Mindy. I feel like I'm already inspired just by looking at your work and hearing you talk.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Keep exploring style from A to Z as we continue with these short videos, meeting lots of artists, talking about their unique styles and all its different forms. Ready to explore style in your sketchbook? Check out Watercolor Bold, try out your first week free, and tell me if you love it. See the links below.